music, art, writing, and painting, I love to be spontaneous. I love to not have a plan or a schedule when creating things. That's why I like to schedule everything else surrounding my creative projects, because if I have a fixed schedule for, like eating, exercising, and working, all that stuff, then I'm allowed to like be spontaneous and crazy and just like unruly with my art projects and my music projects. When it comes to writing a new song, I usually start off by writing it as a poem, and I usually write about what I'm experiencing during those times, whether it be feelings like an issue, a relationship, or just something that happened in the past. I will write about it so that I'm able to process it, because I don't know, like I don't really allow myself to like feel my emotions, especially like the bad ones like sadness and anger. So for me, writing music allows me to go through those emotions. And then I guess that kind of explains why most of my songs, like Sassy and Drunk Kiss Saturdays, are like really moody and depressing, and just like, yeah, they're set in a minor key, or just they have tritones and scary background vocals and stuff, because that's what is going on in my brain. So once I'm done writing my poem, I start working out the bass line, which is like, for me, the easiest part of the song is just finding a bass line. And then after that, I start writing a melody using the guitar, and that takes not too long because I'm really good at writing melodies. And then the next part would be recording vocals. To me, recording vocals is kind of like fun, but sometimes if I'm not warmed up, it's such a pain in the ass. I don't know, I just like, once I record the vocals and I find it, it's like success, like finally. But I guess for me, the hardest part after is when I have to perform the song in like an open mic, and like I'm just like, god damn it, like why did I not include the times where I have to like take in a breath? In my last open mic, I had like a really rough time with performing Two of Swords, because I initially recorded the song by just recording the vocals separately, like in little snippets, so I wasn't really like focusing on my breath when I recorded the song. And when I performed, I just felt like it was such a difficult song for me to sing. And the worst part is that I had like 3 drinks already, which was my limit, and it just sucked. It was a really bad experience. And so once I'm done with recording vocals, I then start to stack up some background vocals and just like weird little sounds in the background, so it sounds like a full song, like what I like to do, something that like I learned from my sound engineer friend, is getting my tracks to play on the left ear and the right ear, so that I just don't have like stacked up tracks playing only on one side of the headphones, you know? So, for example, in this track, I have background vocals on the left ear, and then on the right ear, I set the settings for the guitar to have low focus sounds, and making sure that the bass is high and then the guitar is lowered for the lower levels of sound, like the gain, and making sure that it's high and not too much of a low sound. So to sum it all up, what you're doing is just making sure that the sounds aren't like jumbled up, because I remember when I worked on My Muse, like the first single I wrote, the first draft was just like all the sounds were jumbled up, and I had like 5 different instruments and like 2 sets of orchestra in the background. So if you do that, it's just gonna sound like a mess. But if you compile all your sounds into different sets, different sides of the headphones, and then like one in the middle, then it sounds like really full. It sounds like there's a lot going on, and it sounds organized. And then after I'm done finished with that, what I do next is I work on the pedals that I use for vocals, guitar, and bass, depending on how the bass sounds with the guitar. I don't have an actual bass, I just play the E string on the guitar. Don't judge me. And so I add like different guitar pedals. Right now I'm using GarageBand, but on Logic you have a like bigger range of pedals you can use, and like the ones that I mostly use are the chorus pedals, the delay pedal. Sometimes I'll use a fuzz pedal and distortion, but like on the really low settings. And you just have to like mess around with the knobs a lot until you find like the perfect level of delay and reverb and stuff like that. So once that's done and I feel like my song is complete, it's not really complete until I actually hear it through like my phone or somebody's laptop, or like the speakers on the laptop, a different device besides the studio headphones, because studio headphones make any song sound good, but you gotta make sure your song sounds good if you're playing it back on your shitty iPhone, or some big speakers. So once you hear it back, then I go back to Logic or GarageBand and mess around with the knobs again. And then I have to mess around with the knobs from the what's it called, like the master track. That's basically the process of how I write my songs, in the spur of the moment.